everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are starting another reading vlog where I'm going to read all the finalists for Best Novel for the Nebula 2024. I'm very excited. I think the winner officially is announced, I think it is 6th of June, like the first week of June or something. So it's a little while until, and I'm hoping to get this up before because I have done this the past 2 years and I think both times I posted this after the winners was announced. Not that it matters, but it's just a bit funny. This year, I have read 0 of the ones that are nominated. I owned 3 of them, and I have started to become a good girl and don't buy every single book for my vlogs, but I have borrowed some at the library, and then also I had to buy one that was not available, but that was cheaper to get that physical than to buy the Kindle, so I ended up doing that. You should see in this video which one else I like or don't like. I really like doing these kinds of vlogs, especially for like a SFF reward, because I found new stuff that I haven't heard about before, and like this is supposed to be, you know, the best of the best, and I do think it's interesting to see like what is trending in fantasy in a way and what is PETA. Like it's very interesting to see how popular like certain publishers are in these rewards, etc. So I always think it's a fun and interesting way to do it. I have enjoyed some a lot in these. Some have been like my favorite books, you know, Babel of all time, etc. Some I just read and was like, this was just totally fine, but I can definitely see quality in all the novels, just not all the novels works for me. We are starting today, which is why I started this vlog. I am reading today The Terraformers by Annaline Witz. This one is a sci-fi, seems to be a standalone, and it seems to be something to do with nature something. It also seems to be queer, which we love to see. I'm always weak for queer read, so I will let you know how it goes. I'm very excited to finally get the nominees. I've been searching over and over and over, and then when they're out, I missed it. So that is typical for me. But yeah, see you very soon with thoughts. Yay! Hello! So yesterday I did finish The Terraformers, and I realized the author of this book is the same author as Of Another Timeline something, which is a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, but never have had the opportunity to. Still want to read that. This one is set when humanity has gone out into the universe many thousands of years in the future. And we first start out on this planet where we follow one character who stops, I was gonna say, not exactly a robot, but it's someone that controls a bot from far away from another planet and is like ruining the environment on the planet we're on. She stops it, and then like a little case starts out of this, and they're building like a society and a world on this planet. It's like talks about like who's gonna own it, if someone's gonna buy it, and we are just going out and also like trying to conserve the life there, while at the same time political drama is also happening and there's different characters interacting with each other. And then also they call humans Homo sapiens. I hope that was who they were referring to when they call them Homo sapiens. Generally feel is that people don't like humans, which I totally get because we are kind of assholes to the world in general. It seems like we were at least following another life form, unless this was some kind of like deviant that has, I was gonna say, ascended from humans. And we were basically just building a society, building an ecosystem, building a world. Building an ecosystem is maybe the wrong thing to say because they did already have an ecosystem at the planet we were at. And then we saw things that they were planning, and then we had 3 parts. And every part we skipped several thousand more years so we could see the development of this world. So we kind of have a very developed world over many thousands of years, and we follow different characters, but also some of the characters live for a long time, so you see characters go again. It was very queer. It was very like, I was gonna say almost like futuristic, but still had obviously like heart and conversations that like we can obviously still relate to, because obviously it is fiction and we don't know how people and beings would think several thousand years on the future on a different planet. But it still felt like, I was gonna say homey, but we weren't anywhere close to like where we are now in society. And I thought it was really nice, parts of it, but I also felt like I can really connect with the story because it was almost so grand that I lost myself a bit in it. I didn't find the characters so compelling or the story so compelling because of, like, again, the vastness of it. I think it's a really well-written book that probably takes up a lot of, like, environmental and interesting things about the world or worlds in the future that we can live in. It made me ask myself the question, like, do you actually believe that humanity will leave this planet one day and not live anymore? Because obviously the planet will become uninhabitable because, well, we are ruining it, and because the sun eventually will die. So will humanity die out, or will we eventually develop space travel so that we won't live anymore? Because there's definitely other planets out there that we can live in. And it's really weird to think about the future of humanity and that everyone who's living right now will never see that day come. It makes me think about how insignificant we all are. But I feel like this book kind of did the opposite of that. While, like, sometimes I think like everything I do literally don't matter because in a few years I will be dead and everyone will forget I ever existed and everyone I will know will be dead. So I think about that and get existential dread like everyone does. This book I felt like had the opposite of that, where it felt like every individual is important because the things that someone had done many thousand years before still was a thing that affected people 7,000 years later. And obviously it is like that in the world still. Like, there is individuals that has affected this world that will, if I have done an important thing in the past, that will forever mark our histories in science and history. But not every individual is like that. So it's very interesting. At the same time, if you think about it, all the people around that one important individual helped that important individual do that thing that it marked our history of the world. If you think about it like that, like, without the parents of the parents of the parents that made that individual, that made this huge discovery, that discovery wouldn't have happened. So I don't know, humanity is kind of sometimes beautiful. History is beautiful. The world can be very beautiful, but it can also be very destructive. So it's very interesting to have books like this to reflect upon that. It sounds way more philosophical than it probably was. With all these thoughts, I still didn't love the book. Like, I think like the overall picture of the book is cool. I think it's a well-written book, but like I didn't, as I said, fall that much for the characters. I didn't like care as much as I should maybe. So I gave it like a 3, even though I think it is interesting to have conversations about existential dread, which I don't actually think, that's not even like the focus of the book, but that was what the book made me think about. So there's that. So like, if you have existential dread, fair, don't be scared to read this, because I don't know if you actually feel it from reading this. It's just what I start to think about, so I don't know. But maybe if you're a person that thinks a lot about existential dread, this book would also make you think about it, even though it's not about that. But since if you're like me, it will make you think about it. That was the thoughts. I do, as I said, think the book is good. I can definitely see why it was nominated. I just think for me, it wasn't like amazing, but it was still a solid read. And I feel like now talking about it, I liked it more in afterthought than the experience of reading it. But I do think like enjoyment is a lot of things coming into play here. And I think that my enjoyment when reading it wasn't as high because, again, I didn't find the story that was happening on page as compelling, but what the story stands for and does is an interesting topic for me. I don't know. I am gonna read a new book for this vlog very soon, so see you then. But until then, you should see me in a moment. I need to go and read some other stuff before continuing with this. Yay! Hello! So I am continuing this vlog and I'm going to read Translation State by Anne Leckie. This is actually the 5th book in Imperial Watch, and I have the last 2 weeks listened to all of the other 4 ones on audio. I should have brought the books over, but in theory, those are not in theory in this vlog, so I guess whatever. I had read the first one, A Zero Justice, before, which is set in this galactic world where in that part of the story, the first 3 ones follow I don't know, it's weird to call it a AI, but that's how other people look at them. Basically a ship's mind, a person that had several beings around that was forced into one being and then kind of goes out on a revenge for how they ended up like this. And then becomes kind of more not even about revenge anymore, but more about peace and friendship and helping other people on different other planets, etc. And it was a beautiful, really good story in those 3 first ones. Then the 4th one, Provenance, is kind of more standalone, where they do talk about the events that happened. The other one was more like a distant thing because we follow different characters. That one was so fun. I think it's truly a perfect series to make standalones in, and it was very, very exciting to read a standalone because I thought that it was done perfectly within this world. The next one, as we know, Translation State, I don't know anything about because I know that this is also a standalone within the world. Within the world I want to obviously read other 4 before, in case other characters from that series show up, because we actually had like a character in Provenance showing up that had been in the main trilogy, and I thought that was really fun. I felt like there's still stuff in that series that I was going to say get lost a bit, because it is not necessarily not understandable, but like it is very complex and has many cool aspects that I feel like I need to reread to fully understand completely. Maybe I'm stupid. They actually remind me a lot of Murderbot. So if you join Murderbot, I feel like you enjoy the other. They have like very much of like the same tone of the story. So I feel like if you enjoy one, you enjoy the other. But also in Murderbot, I don't understand all the complexities and stuff in it. I feel like subtle things in that I am missing. That makes the story like even greater. And I feel like it's the same with Imperial Watch, which I also feel like I'm pronouncing it correctly, even though it's done 4 of the audiobook. So I feel like I am really, really enjoying it. We should see how much I enjoyed this standalone. I'm going to read it like with my eyeballs and not with my ears, because it's for a vlog and then usually I do audiobooks over several days. So this I'm going to try to finish tonight. It is 23:59 right now, so it's literally midnight and I should be in bed, but I'm going to try to read as much of this as possible and see if I can finish it tonight. I don't know how I'm going to, like, if it reads in a way that I can read it fast or need to read it slower, which I see. So I'm going to start now and you should see me very soon, hopefully, or tomorrow morning if I'm too tired to update. Okay, I didn't get to finish last night because it was super, super late. I was at 299 pages, so I read the rest now this morning, and it was really great. I think, as I said earlier, that Imperial Watch is the perfect world to have standalones in. And in this one, we have 3 point of views, where one of them has gotten this new job to investigate this person that disappeared 200 years ago. Person? I mean, it could be discussed. But then we have these 3 point of views and how they all connect. One of them, they do things very differently. So it took a while for me to wrap around my head in their culture and what they were doing. I still think that some of the things were a bit diffused, and like I don't really think I 100% understood what it meant, but I got the full story and it had a really sweet ending. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the main characters. I just think I cared about one of the main characters the most, and I felt like that character didn't get as much page time as I would have liked. I also think that when reality broke, the book lost me a bit. I was like, what is going on? But overall, like, super, super entertaining, super fun. I think that Anak is really great at taking stuff that isn't our times now, make characters that we can connect with now, that has the same problems that we do now, and then take those characters into an intergalactic space. And I think that the author does this incredibly well, and it's super well written. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a strong 4 out of 5 stars. I really think that, I hope so at least, it's coming more in this world, because why not just keep going? And then we can have another trilogy where all the characters we have met come together. But honestly, like, super enjoyable. I feel like it is hard to describe the vibe of these books, but it's just very, very interesting, and they're cool and very original and just done incredibly well. Super, super fun book, honestly. I was like sitting there like, I'm having so much fun right now. Again, I already want to go back and reread the whole thing, because I feel like there's so many parts that you can pick up upon every reread. Honestly, it's the kind of book like that, while simultaneously obviously enjoying the read you're doing now. So again, super fun. Definitely can see why they're nominated, because they deserve it, because they are done incredibly well, and would very much recommend. The next book I am reading for this is, I need to check what it's called, Saint of Bright Doors. I don't know if I'm reading that today or tomorrow or the day after. I have to look at my video plans, but I'm reading that next. I don't know anything about it. It was just nominated. I haven't seen anything about it before, so I will let you know how it goes. See you soon. Okay, so last night I did finish the Saint of Bright Doors, I just forgot to update the vlog. So I think that this is maybe a hard case of it's me, it's not a book, because I honestly don't really know what this book was. I'm turning off my computer as well, so the light's being weird. I don't know what was going on in this book. You follow Cutter, who is like raised to be some kind of like killer person, but he doesn't actually want to kill anyone. And then I thought we were kind of like in like a fantasy world thing with like a high fantasy world or like a different world than ours, you know what I mean? Because it seemed like he was being raised in some like different society than ours at first. But then we suddenly talk about like the TV and the radio and like phones and the internet. And I was like, oh, we are in our world with all these human things, but then it felt like they were in a different plane, so it didn't feel like they were in our world. I have no idea what was going on in this book. I tried. I was just written in a way where it was hard for me to grasp anything. I'm so confused, and I was just like, is it me? Is it me? I saw some reviews being like, what is going on? So I feel like maybe it's not 100% me. I feel like it's the kind of book that is way too smart for me, and it is just on another plane than my brain. But it says, nestled at the head of a supercontinent framed by sky and sea lies Lurien, the city of bright doors. The doors are everywhere in the city, scarred in the walls where they don't belong, painted in vivid warning. They watch over a city of art and avarice, of plagues and pogroms, and silently refuse to open. No one knows what lies beyond them, but everyone has their own theory and their own relationship to the doors. Researchers perform tests and take samples, while supplicants offer fruit and flowers and hold prayer circles. Many fear the doors as the source of the hauntings for unspeakable realms. To the rare unchosen few, though, the doors are both a calling and a bane. Feather is one of those few. Feather. Not Cutter. There was another book I read where the main character, I think, was called Cutter, and I mix him up with. When Feather was born, his mother tore his shadow from him. She made him up a weapon to kill his sainted father and destroy the religion, rising up in his sacred footsteps. Now Feather is unchosen, lapsed in his devotion to both his parents. He casts no shadow, is untethered by gravity, and sees devils and anti-gods everywhere he goes. With no path to follow, Feather would like to be anything but himself. Thus, his answer await on the other side of Lurien's bright doors. And again, I obviously didn't read the synopsis before reading this book because I knew I was going to read it anyway. When I read the synopsis, a part of me is like, okay, I can kind of see that was overall the stuff happening in the book, like obviously with the shadow, him being raised as a killer, etc. But overall, it was honestly just so confusing and bizarre and like a fever dream. It was like not at all the kind of book for me. And I don't know what else to say. I feel like it is okay to not vibe with a book, to not completely understand a book. Like, we are humans, we all have different thoughts and knowledge inside of us. I feel like it was probably wonderful and massive and had good language, but I struggled a lot grasping the story. So now I'm sitting here like, what do I even, I wouldn't even know what to rate this. I wouldn't even know what to say about it, honestly. But that was what happened. And I did not expect that. I was just reading the book and I was just like, shadow, losing a shadow, killer, where are we? Who are we? It was a thing. I don't know what I feel like, but that's how I ended up feeling. I don't have more to say about it, honestly. I'm gonna start the next book today, which I haven't bought yet because it's lying for me waiting at work. So that is the Shidi and the Brass Head of Ubalufon by Vol Talabi. This is the kind of book that I feel like I can be confused of as well. It depends so much on the language. So let's hope I don't read 2 books in a row that confuses me. And let's see how I feel about Shigiri later today. Yay. Hello. So last night I did finish Shigiri and the Brass Head of Ubalufo. This one I bought yesterday as well. So is it the first time ever I bought a book that day and then I read it that day? I feel like that's not natural. We don't do that. Who does that? We are kind of set in a world where there is the spiritual realm and then our realm. And then in the spirit realm, there's kind of this corporate society almost, like capitalism, etc. And our main character Shigiri used to work in this corporate department where he collected souls. And then one day he literally hated his life. And then one day he went into this deal slash partnership with a succubus. Well, they kind of shouldn't have done that because people, obviously the bosses etc. got really mad at them. And now it's been like, I think about a year. And then I get this deal to steal this brass head of Walufan to like be accepted again in society, etc. Because like people are like mad at them. He's also, I think, an small Orisha god of like nightmare and dreams, and then he can change his forms, etc. Because he wanted this deal with the succubus. She has a name. Neoma. And then together they're kind of a bit chaotic. And then we also have like different chapters. It always tells you what time and like what date it is, and we also get a flashback of when they meet and when they went into this partnership. And then we also get like more flashback of Neoma's past. I guess she's not really a succubus, that's where you realize as well. And then I really enjoyed it. It was much clearer what was happening than the last one, for example. That helped a lot. And it was kind of a heist, but not really. It was kind of a love story, but not really. And we kind of, we had these like two worlds. And I think the only thing I would want more of in the book was more like magic stuff and like more seeing them use their powers, etc. I don't think it's gonna go down as a favorite book of all time, but it was very, very enjoyable. And I wonder if there will be more, because it definitely can be like a series. So it was really enjoyable. I really liked the characters. I really liked how it was written. I really enjoyed the world. So overall, like a solid one. I had a good time. I'm rating it like a good 4. So I'm happy that I understood this and that I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, it was a good pick, and it has a cool cover. So I'm excited. I just thought it was so weird to go to work and be like, I bought it, and then I started to read it like an hour afterwards. It was really weird. I have something in my eye, which was very annoying. Is that what people do that don't have 500 books on their TBR? Interesting reflections. Then I'm going to start the next one today, which I decided to be Witch King by Martha Wells. This is the unrecorded edition, if anyone cared to or curious to know. This is a bonus scene. Well, I'm not counting that in the pages. 414 pages, not too bad, not too bad. I just felt like it looked so thick for some reason. I'm unsure if I would like this. I really enjoyed The Murder Bullet by Martha Wells, obviously. But I feel like if this can also end up being too smart for me. But after being murdered, his consciousness dormant and aware of the passing of time. Well, that is the start of the synopsis. So I am curious. There's a map. I was just curious. I don't know what I was curious about. I'm not even reading on this. I'm reading it on my pocketbook because I don't want to hold this. But I have it. So yeah, I'm going to try to read that today. We shall see how my plans goes. See you later. Okay, so last night I did finish up. I have a lot of books currently beside me suddenly. I don't know, there's always like piling books beside me. I don't know why. I did finish Witch King by Martha Wells, and as I guessed, it was super confusing. I don't understand anything that went on. So we had this prince that woke up after he had been killed. I think he had passed so many years. And then we also get like another like chapters where like we find out what happened, and then also he's doing things in present day, going against the people that I think killed him. Not I think, like I'm saying I think because, well, spoilers. And it was just written very confusingly. I do think Martha Wells is a marvelous writer. She's really good with words. But in this book, I had trouble understanding said words. Like a lot of troubles. I wished I loved it. I wish I understood it more. I feel like it's hard to review a book you feel like was hard to comprehend in general. And I just couldn't be on board with everything because I was just like, what is going on? Who are you? It was just a lot of confusion. And I maybe would try it again later at another date. Like, I'm not going to unhaul it or anything. I mean, it is a special edition. And I don't think I disliked it because I don't think I understood enough of it to dislike. But I feel like there's 2 books in this vlog that I say I don't understand anything of, and it's making me feel stupid. But again, I read some reviews and it seems like other people feel the same. So again, I feel like it's not just me, it is also a bit of how the book is written. And I was just like, what is going on? I have no idea. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if that would be more or less confusing, but maybe trying the audiobook would that just be more confusing. It sounds like it would be more confusing. But I thought reading the names in my eyes would help, but it was not helping. We have pretty art though. Like actually really pretty art. And really pretty cover. It reminded me a bit of Gideon the Ninth. Like, just that is sci-fi obviously. They reminded me of each other, a bit like plot-wise maybe, story-wise. But Gideon the Knight is super confusing, but I do understand a book. I had no chance in this one. I wish, again, I enjoyed it more. I feel like maybe it is the kind of book that I should read in one evening, that like you need to read over a bit of time. Again, I'm willing to give it another shot, but not right now. I needed to read this yesterday because I need to get this vlog up in 2 days. So there's that. I don't really have a rating again, because what can I rate? But that means we are for the last book for this vlog, which I felt like that was really weird. So I need to double check. It's loading. It's loading. Oh, that is weird. Oh, we are on the last book. So we are reading another one that I already owned, The Water Alphas by C.L. Huang. I pre-ordered this. I was so excited for it when it was released, I think last August or September. The hype I felt when I saw this cover. Super, super excited. Did I read it then? No. Am I gonna read it now? Yes! So obviously it seems to be some kind of like Asian-inspired fantasy. From like, I'm saying Chinese because I don't know. That's just what I'm getting from the main character's name. But will this also be confusing? I don't know. I feel like it could have confusing vibes. I don't know. But I'm very excited to see what I would think about it. I'll let you know. I'm gonna read it today. How long is this? It's huge, but like the pages are thick. Okay, like 450 something, 60 pages. Rip me today. See you later. Okay, so last night I did finish The Water Alphas by S.L. Huang. We follow a main character who is the arms master, and she is being accused for a crime she didn't commit, and then she escapes and joined kind of this, I was going to say almost like bandits, kind of rebel kind of group, and then this like spins a lot of plots and I was going to say unsteadiness in the kingdom. And then we follow different point of views that this affects. And we need to see how this goes in the end. And I thought it was fun. Like, I thought it was interesting. It was written really well. I just think that the middle part was a bit like, not incredible. Like, it starts off really, really well. And then it just kind of goes a bit like, middle part. And I thought the ending was fine. So like overall a fine, okay book. I don't think it was incredible. I thought that I would really, really love it from like the first 2 chapters. Then I kind of lost interest of it. But I'm not saying that the book is bad. I think that you can find many, many good parts of it. I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I just think for me, it didn't feel like incredible. I would give it 3.5, rounding it up to 4. So it's not like, it's not terrible. It's just, I really wanted to love it. You know what I mean? And now I just feel like it was okay. I like the ideas of it. I liked how kind of we had this group and what it meant and the different characters. I just think that the book itself could have been more engaging, if you know what I mean. I don't think I'm explaining my thoughts really well. And it says it's inspired by classics of material arts literature, which you can kind of see. But since then there's a lot of focus on that. And I'm like, it's cool, but do I find that super interesting to read about? I don't know. Like, I guess like in Shidi, I feel like there's a lot of focus on that in a way, in a different way at least. But here, I like we had like some cool like magic to do with like the goddess' teeth and stuff like that, and I thought that was super cool. But then it was like really subtle, and it's like we're not gonna talk that much about it, and I was like, okay. So you know what I mean? But it was still interesting, engaging, but like couldn't keep my interest up as much as I would like to make it like an amazing book for me but still a solid read. Yeah. But that means we're done with all the books. But like, that's weird, right? It is a bit weird. I agree. I totally agree. I guess we need to rank them now. I feel like this year's collection for me wasn't as strong as like last year and the year before. I feel like there I found many more books that for me felt like higher ratings, higher enjoyment, that I was like, dang, these are really, really good books. And I do think that a lot of these books are good. It's not that. I just found like I loved overall, and my enjoyment overall of the other years was much higher than this year's. Now I'm feeling a bit like, oh, that was it. Which is obviously very subjective, and like obviously a lot of people have loved these books, but I'm just feeling a bit like, oh, that was it. But I don't even know how do I rank this? I don't know. So I guess that it makes sense for me to rank last the Saint of Bright Doors. But again, I don't think that is because this book is bad. I just didn't get it. I think a lot of parts of it was beautiful. I found small parts of it interesting. It just felt like okay, because I didn't fully comprehend everything, you know? So then the same goes for Rich King, which then will come placed after that. Because again, very confused. But I found some aspect in this, I guess, more interesting than in the Saint of Bright Doors. So that's why it's going a bit higher for me. But again, maybe both of them I should try again, but I am more likely to try again Witch King. I guess I would then put the Terraformers, because this gave me existential dread. Even though I do believe that that's maybe the opposite of what the book is trying to do, it still did it. And then like, since it went so many years, I was a bit lost, to be honest. But it was still solid for what it was. Yeah, I think I would then put The Water Outlaws, which I feel like, again, it was an okay read and all that you just heard me talk about it. But it just feels weird to put it so highly, but it has to do with enjoyment a lot. And I enjoyed lots of parts of this and what it was trying to do. I don't know if it scored on everything it was trying to do for me, but it still did a good try. So I think I would put in Shidi here, only because I think this was in disadvantage for the fact that I had been binging all of Imperial Raj right before I was reading Translation State. So I was really into that world and that kind of writing when I was reading that. So a bit biases was playing in this. But this was super enjoyable. I've been thinking about it a bit now since the days I finished it. And just like the succubus part, not that she's even a succubus, but that's besides the point. And just like the whole corporation thing and just these characters on this wild run. I want more of them. I honestly thought it was also fun. So that is what I feel like I was missing a bit in these others. I didn't really have fun. This one gave me fun. So that means that first place goes to Translation State. And it's really just because it had some tropes I really enjoyed. Elderly lady finding like more spark after, I was gonna say, not doing much for a long time. The whole like merging and reality broke part, don't know what was going on there. But I was more intrigued by that part than a lot of the parts in these other books. So I feel like it can be on first place. But again, I don't think Translation State is a favorite book for me in general. Like, I gave it 4. I didn't give any books here 5. Disappointing in itself, but out of all of these, I think that is the one that I had highest enjoyment with. But again, biased because I had just read through the other books and like was really like focused on it. I think I ended up enjoying Provenance almost I think the most of all of them. It was just so much fun. So if it was Provenance, that was the one for this year. But I don't know. I didn't even give it that 5 stars. I don't know what I'm saying. But that is me reading all of the Nebula novel finalists. I'm feeling like fine. I still don't regret reading any of it, but it's like nothing sucked. Like, I think there was 1 year something sucked, and I don't know if I said that properly in the video. I mean, I was gonna say nothing was amazing, but I feel like there were a bit amazing, but not a fave for me, is that what I wanted to say. I guess I would thank you all, I guess, for watching this video. Why did I say I guess? Oh my god. I will thank you all for watching this video, and you should see me soon in a new one. Leave a like planet or like spaceship thing down below, and you shall see me soon. Goodbye!